Hello again and welcome back to the channel. This is Michael from TOEFLresources.com, and in today's video I'm happy to share the 2021 versions of my TOEFL essay templates. I will mention that this is not my complete guide to the writing section. If that's what you're looking for, you can check out the links in the video description down below. This video is just the templates, so it's a bit shorter than what I usually upload. All right, we'll get started by talking about the integrated essay, which is the first writing question. The template here starts with an introduction, and in this case, you have two possible templates to choose from. They are very similar, but they do serve different purposes. At the top of the screen is a template to use when the author of the reading has a single, clear opinion. So imagine that you've got an article about Great Zimbabwe, which is a fortress in Zimbabwe. If the author of the article feels that Great Zimbabwe was used as a royal palace, and that's his only overall argument, you're going to use the template on the top. And it's going to go something like this. The article and the lecture are both about Great Zimbabwe. The author feels that it was used as a royal palace. The lecturer disputes the claims made in the article. His position is that it was not used as a royal palace. Down below is a template for when the author presents three possible theories, and he doesn't pick a single one. So if it's about Great Zimbabwe, he might say, first, well, maybe it was used as a royal palace, or maybe it was used as a city for regular residents, or maybe it was used as a defensive fortress. In that case, you're going to use this template, and it's going to go something like this. The article and the lecture are both about Great Zimbabwe. The author presents three theories about how it was used. The lecturer disputes the claims made in the article. His position is that they are all inaccurate. And that's your template. So you just have to understand the structure of the reading and pick the appropriate template. Next up is the first body paragraph of your essay. The template is pretty straightforward. You're just filling in the blanks with details from the reading and from the lecture. So it's going to start with according to the reading, and then you give me the first detail from the first body paragraph. The article mentions that, and then give me one of the supporting details. This argument is challenged by the lecturer. He claims that. Additionally, he points out that. Fill in the blanks. At this point, I will mention that the least important part of this template is the second sentence about the reading. If you're a lower level student, you can probably delete this sentence and you probably won't lose too many points for that. Most of your score comes from the lecture summary, so that's what you should focus on. And always include the full template for the lecture summary. That's important. Next up is the second body paragraph. It's very similar to the template for the first body paragraph. I won't even read it. I've just kind of changed some of the verbs in the transition. You're simply filling in the blanks with details from the second body paragraph in the reading and then the matching lecture points. Next up is the third body paragraph. Again, it's very similar. You're just filling in the blanks. I've tried to make this template a little bit more concise because I know a lot of students are running out of time by the time they get to the third body paragraph. I should mention here that I have not made a template for a conclusion. I don't believe that a conclusion is useful in the integrated essay. I feel if you have time left over at the end of the third body paragraph, you should use that time for proofreading and for fixing mistakes and not for writing a conclusion in this essay. I don't think a conclusion will improve your score. And that's all there is to say about the template for the integrated essay. Next up is the independent essay, which is the second writing question. It's actually the very final question on the whole TOEFL. This essay starts with an introduction, 3 sentences long. First up is a background sentence. Now, I will mention I read maybe 15 essays every day, And I find that the worst sentence in almost all of those sentences is the very first sentence in the introduction. Students really overdo it in this position. They try to write too much, or they try to include the opposite of their thesis, or they try to, I don't know, repeat the question prompt somehow. They just try to do too much, and they end up with a ton of grammar and language use errors. So every year I tweak the template for the opening line because I want to make it easy and concise and simple. So this year, my template goes like this. Most people agree that everyone in the world should, and then just say something that people should do, which somehow relates to the question you've been asked. So if you get a question about working in groups, you could say, everyone in the world should know how to collaborate with others. Or if you get a question about how much money you get paid at work, it could be like, everyone in the world should be happy about their salary at work. You know, something like that, something simple and something concise. Now, even though this sentence should be simple and concise, it is important. It needs to be in the essay. I believe, based on my research, that the E-rater, which judges you, is specifically looking for this kind of background sentence, so don't forget to write it. After that, you answer the question. Personally, I believe that, and then you just answer whatever question you've been asked. Finally, you can end your introduction with a basic transitional sentence, something like, I feel this way for 2 reasons, which I will explore in the following essay, or whatever. That sentence, not very important. All right, next up is your first body paragraph. Start that body paragraph with a transitional phrase like to begin with, and then state your first supporting argument. After that, you should write 1 or 2 explanatory sentences which just go into more detail about your argument. Explain what you mean. After that, a transition. In this case, I wrote, my personal experience is a compelling example of this. And then you're going to write a personal experience that supports your argument. That's going to be 3 or 4 or 5, maybe even 6 sentences long, depending on your ability level. I have not suggested that you repeat the argument at the end of your body paragraph. I don't feel that's particularly important. In fact, I feel it's quite repetitive. I mean, you've just mentioned the argument at the beginning of the body paragraph, and you're also going to mention the arguments at the end of your conclusion. So I don't feel you need to mention them yet again at the end of each body paragraph. I feel your time is better used to write a more detailed and a longer personal example. Next up is the second body paragraph. The template's pretty similar to the one for the first. Start with a transitional phrase like furthermore, and then give your second supporting argument. Write 1 or 2 explanatory sentences, and then write a transition like for instance, and give your personal example. 5 or 6 sentences, whatever. Finally is the conclusion. 2 sentences long in the template. In conclusion, and then paraphrase your main point. Don't copy and paste from above when you repeat your main point. I want you to change it a little bit. Just use a basic paraphrase. Change a few words. Next sentence goes, this is because, and then you repeat your 2 arguments with a comma between them. Again, paraphrase the arguments a little bit. You don't have to totally change them. It's not like a major paraphrase. It's just change a few words. Do your best to avoid a really repetitive essay. And that's the end of the independent essay. That's all you got to do. 4 paragraphs long. To conclude, though, I will mention a few general tips that might help you a bit on test day. For the integrated essay, write between 280 and 300 words for a top score. I generally recommend that 40% of your essay be about the reading and 60% of your essay be about the lecture. I want you to write some compound sentences. Give me a little bit of grammatical complexity. Don't just write simple sentences all the way through. For the independent essay, it's going to be longer because you've got more time. In this case, I recommend 380 to 400 words. I really want you to emphasize those examples. When I write essays, the example makes up about 60% of the total word count. I feel that results in a more varied vocabulary and slightly more grammatical complexity, not to mention a stronger overall argument. And my last tip, use transitions throughout the essay. I only use transitions in the template kind of at the beginning and the middle, but you're also going to use transitions in your personal examples. I mean stuff like as a result, therefore, moreover, in addition, in contrast, consequently, you know, the basic transitions that most people are familiar with. The E-rater and the human rater are specifically looking for those. Okay, I will leave it at that, but if you want to find more of my stuff, you can check TOEFLresources.com. That is my website. If you go there, you can sign up for my essay evaluation service where I will read all of your essays and I will correct your mistakes line by line and word by word, and I will estimate how they would score on the real TOEFL. And more importantly, I will tell you what you should change and what you should do differently in order to increase your score next time you write an essay. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. But as always, if there are any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Take care, guys, and I'll see you again in a few weeks with a brand new video.